Imagine you had the opportunity of buying Bitcoin in 2014 or maybe in 2010. Well, all of these people that actually did this, they are very, very rich today. Bitcoin that at that time was 3 digits, maybe 2 digits at some point. Now it is 5 digits and it is looking to be 6 digits, I believe, by the end of the year. So before it was very, very cheap to buy a lot of Bitcoin. But now you require $65,000 to buy a single Bitcoin, and that is not feasible for everyone. So what if you want to jump into this whole crypto thing, hodling, but you don't have enough capital to compete with these big whales? Well, what can you do? You can just buy a fraction of Bitcoin, like a Satoshi, or you can use options like we're going to be showing in today's videos. More specifically, LEAPS, which are options that have long expiration. So they are over 9 months to over years long in the future. So the expiration for these options are way longer than your usual Wall Street bets strategy. If you're new to options or new to crypto, don't worry, we're going to cover everything in this video. So sit down and stay tuned. So Bitcoin, you have $10,000, but $10,000 doesn't even get you half a Bitcoin. So how can you profit? How can you make sure you're having the most return? You make sure you have the best ROI that you can on your fractions of Bitcoin. Well, we're going to be doing something here that not everyone knows about, which are buying long expiration dates options. This pretty much gives you almost as the same as holding the underlying asset itself, but just for the fraction of the cost. In the stock market, a lot of people use this strategy to both profit on a certain underlying asset without holding the underlying asset, or because the underlying asset is expensive as a whole. Let's say, for example, a Berkshire Hathaway, one single stock costs over $400,000. So in this case, why would you hold a full stock of this company? But in other cases, there can be like Amazon, which is 4 digits, Tesla, which was 4 digits at one point. There's a lot of stocks that are very, very pricey. So for you that are starting with a small capital, you don't want to put all of it there. For whatever reasons you're doing this, options can help you not only saving some money, but also profiting way more than just holding the underlying asset itself. So we can do the same thing for Bitcoin, but how? Well, let me show it here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to decide how much money you have for the whole strategy. Let's say you have 10K. Out of that 10K, you're going to put, let's say, $7,000 into Bitcoin. Now you only have 3K left. What are you going to do with this 3K to profit even more out of Bitcoin rising in price? Because again, you're buying Bitcoin because you believe Bitcoin is going to rise in price, as we all do. So what do? You come here to Bitopics, you create an account, which by the way, the link is the first link right here in the description. And once you create the account, you're going to go to Bitcoin options. And here you have all the strike overviews. You can choose the option itself here on the side. So what I want you to do is come here and look at the series. The series is the expiration itself of the option. Again, options, they have size, expiration, and strike. We're going to be doing a very high level understanding of these 3 things here, but I'm sure if you're a beginner, you want to know more. So we're going to be doing videos about this as well. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss when we post more educational content for you to get the base, the understanding of options itself. So let's start with the series, which is the expiration date. This is when the option is going to expire, because all options, they do expire eventually. So here is where the magic happens. We can go all the way to March 2025. So the 28th of March 2025, almost exactly 1 year from now at the time of the recording. Right now is April 4th. So this is pretty much a leap. It is a long expiration option. So what can we do right now? We're going to go to the strike. The strike itself, that we want the option to expire above. Since we're opening a call, we want it to expire above this option. Now you can choose 3 approaches here. You can go for what's called in the money. You can go for what is called at the money. And you can go for a strike that is called out of the money. What are these 3 things? Well, let me explain. The strike itself that you choose from an option, if it is below the current price of the underlying asset, so right now you can see right here at the top, Bitcoin right now is at $68,000. So if we buy a call that expires next year, but the price itself of this strike is $20,000, like here, for example, it says $20,000. So if the price is $20,000, it means that it is in the money because it is below the current price of the underlying asset. Now, if you choose an option that expires next year and the strike of this option is close to $68,000, then this option is at the money, meaning that it is close to the fluctuating price currently of Bitcoin, which is 68,000. So if we choose a 68 or 69,000 strike for next year, this is an at the money option. What if you go to 80K, 90K, 100? Now this is called out of the money option. So which one is more expensive? Of course, an in the money option is always going to be more expensive than an out of the money option. Always, because it has intrinsic value and because it already starts profitable. This is the simplest way that I can explain it to you. Because at expiration, if Bitcoin is $68,000 right now and you bought an expiration of $20,000, if Bitcoin was to expire right now, you will be 48 grand in the money. So that's amazing for you. Your options should be doing very, very well. But if you are out of the money, now it means that Bitcoin needs to catch up to that price. So Bitcoin right now is 68 and you bought an 80. Bitcoin needs to catch up all the way to 80 for that 80 option to become at the money. And if Bitcoin goes to 100K, that at the money becomes in the money. I hope it made sense. So the more in the money, the more expensive the option will be. The more out of the money, the cheaper the option will be. So why am I saying this? Because this will affect how much you pay for the leap that you want to buy. So in our case, we only have 3K, but we want to buy an at the money option. Why? Because in the money it will be too expensive, and at the money we'll still have a whole year for Bitcoin to get as far away, higher pricing as it is right now from the at the money option, meaning that our at the money will become in the money because it will increase in price even more. So statistically in the stock market, you can see a lot of people do that. Buying at the money leaps is always better than buying out of the money leaps, because the out of the money has also a lot of theta decay. The delta difference that it has between out of the money and in the money doesn't make sense. The delta that you're losing between out of the money and at the money options doesn't justify the difference in price that you're going to be willing to pay. Again, a lot of big words here, but what you need to understand is that better ROI is from at the money options, which is what we want at the end of the day. So we're going to go to 68, maybe a 69 if we don't have that. We have a 70,000. 70,000 is fine. $70,000 for Bitcoin expiring next year. So March 28. How much will this cost? Now, if you buy a whole contract, you will see that it is worth $30,000. So a little less than half of a Bitcoin. But again, we only have $3,000. So we go for a fraction. We go for 0.1. And you can see that this right here is $3,000. So you're paying $3,000 to open a position, and this position is like you were holding a 0.1 of a Bitcoin, so $6,800 worth of Bitcoin pretty much. So right now you have that $7,000 in Bitcoin, and you also have this 0.1 Bitcoin, and now you have something that is close to having 0.1 of a Bitcoin itself. And unlike the Bitcoin that you were holding, which is not leverage, these options is like you're doing leverage position. So if you traded futures, for example, you know that you can leverage a position. So you can leverage your long position for 5x, 10x, whatever it is. These are already leveraged. You don't have to tinker with any sliding bar or adding 5, 10x, whatever it is. No, it is already leveraged for you. So how much do I make? How much do I lose? Well, the most you can lose is that 3K that you deposited. This is the most amount of money that you can lose. But how much you can make? Well, the answer is infinite. It depends on two things: how fast Bitcoin climbs and what price Bitcoin gets in 1 year before expiration. So of course you can close this position earlier. You don't have to hold this position for a whole year. If Bitcoin by maybe 2 months in, or by August this year, it goes to 100K, your option is going to be maybe 10x, maybe 20x. The only thing that you have to do is wait for Bitcoin to go up. And with this strategy, you have Bitcoin working for you in two ways. You have the HODL model, which everyone in crypto knows, which is just buying and holding Bitcoin. And you have the LEAPS working for you in a leverage way that does not have liquidation. You cannot get liquidated or margin called. This is not like doing futures where you can lose a lot of money, needs to deposit more to cover for margin. There is no such thing. With options, you don't have the problems, the hurdle that people that do futures, that do leverage do. You already know how much you're going to lose, and you're going to have an unlimited profit or your option as long as Bitcoin keeps climbing. So this is a very good strategy for you to know. If you like the strategy, you can be doing this on the topics. Again, the link is going to be the first link in the description for you to try out their protocol. And maybe if it is something interesting, we can create a strategy for you to copy trade from that does this. So if this is something that you would like to see, or something interesting that could be done where you can just deposit money and it will replicate copy trade strategy, just let us know. So what did you think of this strategy? Do you have any idea on how you can change it a little bit, tweak? How much would you go for? 7,000 in Bitcoin, 3,000 in options? Or would you go all in LEAPS? Would you do half and half, 30-70? Well, let me know down in the comments. I'm always eager to see what you guys come up with. So let's chat in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss these next videos. And if you have a friend that thinks this could be interesting, well, send it to him. Again, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.